What's going on, guys? Today I will show you how to create an employee interview recruitment chatbot. So this chatbot will be fully able to interview your employees, ask them questions about their experience, ask them anything, and do the whole interview and the summary and report and the grading of the interview. So for example, let's say I come here and I say hi to this chatbot. Let's say I am applying for a job at this particular company, and then it says, "Hello there. I'm here to gather information from interesting potential candidates. I'll ask you questions about your story and work history. If you feel a question doesn't add anything further, simply type S to skip. Please provide your email address, vukrosic1@gmail.com." And then it's gonna say, for example, then it's gonna say, please provide your name. Please provide, please provide description. Okay, I'm applying for software engineer position. So what it's going to do then, could you help provide a brief summary? Could you please provide a brief summary of your experience and skills in one sentence? I have 5 years of experience as software engineer. Okay, and then the chatbot is going to, okay, topic 1 out of 3. Now, please share an example of a time when you effectively tackled a major challenge in your career. Type S to skip to next. Then it's gonna say, okay, so I'm gonna say, for example, I can just start typing, I was developing this game in Java, there was this problem, and then it's gonna ask follow-up questions. If I say I had trouble making this mob, making this animal in this game, it's gonna say, how did you create this animal at the end? It's gonna. So this is how the chatbot works. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how to build this from scratch, everything on Botpress. So before we start, I will also say that these kind of things are actually probably going to get regulated in a few years. In European Union, they are being regulated right now. It's gonna come into fruition in a few years, but you should just have this in mind. For now, everything is all right as I understand. So you can use this for now. It's not regulated at all. So go here onto the Explore Bot templates, and you can load bot recruitment template into the Botpress. So right now, what I'm gonna do, you're gonna have this template for this bot, and I will explain how it works. The first thing, we will look at these variables. If you click anywhere on the dashboard, you're gonna see these variables. We have like questions, answers, answer ratings, summaries. So the first thing I want you to do is come here and click this variable count questions and rename this to, wait a second, question underscore index. So this is a way better name and it will be a way less confusing. So this variable question.index. Now let's start from the beginning. The first execute code block. We can click here, we can disable this AI generation on these stars. So we're gonna reset summary variable. Let me just start by explaining. So there is this global object workflow. And inside of that object, you have all of your variables and some other things. You access your variables that you define by saying workflow dot and then variable name. So this summary variable, we will reset it to an empty array. You know it's empty array because it has these square brackets. And we will reset answer rating to an empty array. If we use this chatbot earlier, if this is like a second run of the chatbot, we're gonna reset everything here. So then we have a text field, hi there. Another text field, you add fields by going here on this side menu, and you have send message, text, audio, and everything. So this bot helps you gather information from interesting potential candidates. So you copy paste or write this kind of text. Then we have input field, which is going to be person name. So you go here, find person name input field, or you find any input field and then you choose here person name. You search for person name. Okay, so the type of value to extract, this will use AI to extract person name from whatever user types. you can say the question, what is your name? And this will automatically extract person name. And let's store it into the variable that we created called full name. Then same for email. What's your email? Type value to extract email address, store it into email variable. Our email position is raw input, means just text. What is the position you are applying for in one sentence? And then we're gonna store this into the variable position. Let me just now quickly mention that you can all of these variables have their types. So it has name and type string. You can go ahead and check their types. So string means just text, boolean is true or false, number is integer, or probably like any integer or floating point double number. Date object is a bit more complex, but I will explain all of this as we go. So now we have overview. This is raw input. Store this into overview. Let me see. So this is execute code block. Let me click here and see what it does. Let me disable AI generation. Okay. So here we have questions that we are going to ask the candidate. So questions, this is an array. We know this by these square brackets. And array of strings. Strings means just text. So each element must have these, what is these quotation marks, where it starts and ends, and each element is separated by a comma. So there are one element, two elements, three elements. So 3 questions, 3 elements in this questions array. That's what is. If you want to change questions, you change it here. Okay, let's go next. Now we have questions array variable set. Let me go into the next this code. Let's see. Workflow dot total questions. Workflow. Okay, this is the thing. First of all, I changed the name. Wait. No, I didn't. No, this is something else. Okay, so total questions is the number of total questions. So we go here. We say workflow dot questions dot length will return length of this questions array. If this questions was not of type array, this will throw an error. So arrays have a property called length that is just the length, so the number of elements in it. And that will be assigned to this total question. So this will have number 3 because the length of our questions array is 3. We made it 3 questions. Then we're going to transition always means, so condition to true, it will always be true. We're going to transition into asks main questions. Let's figure out what this does. Okay, let me just go into the code here. So we are going to keep this variable transcript throughout the whole conversation. We're just gonna keep adding the entire transcript of the interview to this variable transcript. We're gonna, in the beginning, we're gonna set it to, this is about a candidate who is applying for, and then $, curly brackets, workflow.position. So this means that whatever is inside of this $, curly brackets, this is going to be replaced by the value of this position variable. So if I wrote software engineer, this is going to be replaced by software engineer. So is applying for software engineer. This is going to be the value of the transcript variable. Okay, so now we set the transcript variable. Let's go to the next execute code block. Let me see. So, okay, so we want to set variable current question to understand what is the current question we are dealing with. So the current question variable is going to be set to. So here we get the array questions, but we don't want to set the current variable to the entire array questions. We don't want to copy the value of the entire array. We only want the current question. So we need to give it an index of the question we want copied from this questions array. So which question do we want to set this current question to? Now you need to understand something in programming, which I will teach you here. In arrays, let's say there are 4 questions. Their indices are 0, 1, 2, 3. So they are not 1, 2, 3, 4. The first question has index 0. The second question in the array has index 1. So the first element has index 0. The second element index 1. The last element will have, for example, in this case, 4 elements, index 3. Okay, so that's why I said, so right here we need to get the index of the current question. So if the index is, for example, 0, this is the first question. So we're going to get questions and question at index 0. Without this, this would return the entire array questions. But if we add square bracket 0, this will return the first question in this array, and it will be assigned to current questions. Now, let me just Control Z to return everything. We are not going to hard code 0 here. We are going to choose dynamically the index of the question. And we're going to do that by selecting workflow.count questions. Now, I told you to change this count questions to question index because it's a lot more clear what we are looking for here. So this is the index of the question. I also want to return back using Control Z to show you something. When you have red underline, this means there is a, like this doesn't exist or there is some mistake. Property count questions does not exist in the type current workflow. This is because we changed the name of the variable to question index. So if our current question is index is 0, we are going to return. Okay, so if you don't understand this, I suggest you return back and watch a bit of this again. So now we know the current question, what we are asking. Let me see the next execute code block. Okay, so workflow.temp no. So what this is, okay. Workflow.current question plus 1. Okay, so as I said, we're going to replace this with question underscore index. As I said, the first question has index 0. So it's always like -1. So we want to say +1 if we want the first question to be like have index 1 or not have index 1. If we want to make it more clear, so for example, this is the number of the question. So first question, we want without -1, this would have first question, this would be 0. Okay, this is a bit confusing, but I think it will be more clear later. So let's just set this to index +1 because index is usually like 1 less. Okay, let's go next. So here we just have like a text field and we are going to say topic and then this right here, curly brackets, workflow.temp. And no, this is like, we just want to display. So this is going to say topic 1 of total question is 3. So 1 of 3. If we said question index here, this would say 0 of 3 because length is 3, but it would be confusing like because question index at first is 0. So that's why we just say +1. So it's less confusing for the viewer that this is like the first question. Okay, let me see. User response. Okay. I didn't also say like everything that is in curly brackets is going to be replaced by the value of this question index, which this should not be question index, this should be temp no, because question index is like the other. Okay, so this will be topic, and then this will be replaced by the value of temp no, because it's in double curly brackets. I just want to mention that earlier I said that if you want to dynamically write these values, you want to put $sign and then 1 curly brackets. That's case if you are writing in JavaScript code. But if you are writing in this kind of Botpress, whatever they did, you write it this way to replace this with the value of temp no. In JavaScript code, you use 1 brackets and the $sign. Okay. Let me go user response. So this is a input field, raw input, workflow.current question. So this will just display the current question, and then it will just add in brackets, like it will just say type S to skip to next. We will store this into a user response. Let me just check my recording. Okay, it is recording, nice. Okay, let me see now. Okay, now we are going to have this expression that is going to check if user wrote this like S to skip. So if the user response is equal to S, and we check if it's S with these three equals. If it was only one equal, then we would set user response to S. But if we have two or three equals, we are checking if user response is equal to this S string. And if it is equal, so it's important what's written in the condition. Label is just like name. Label doesn't matter. Condition is your logic. So if the condition is true, it's going to go to this set summary if skip. So let me actually check what this does. Let me check the code. So workflow.summary. So we have an array summary. I know it's array because it has these like curly brackets, which will be the index. Okay, so what we want to do is go into the summary array, and at the place of our, this will be replaced by question index, at the place and at the same index as our questions index, we're going to say not available, summary is not available. So in this array summary, we're going to take the same, and the reason we are taking the same, we're going to put this at the same index of summary as this question index is just for organization, just so we know that first question in questions corresponds to first summary in summary array. That's why we're going to set to the same index. The next code block, let me see here. Okay, let me disable workflow.answer rating. Okay, answer rating is another array. So the index, we're gonna set 0 as answer rating. This we will use answer rating to rate answers of our potential like employee, interviewee. So we're gonna rate his answer with 0 if he skips it. And we're gonna set this 0 value to an index. In this answer rating, the index is going to be the same as index of the question. So this is current question index. So this question index is basically, it saves the index of the current question in questions array. Okay, then we're gonna transition next main question. But before we go to next question, let me go back and see. So this is if user does not say S, so it does not skip, this will return as false, this condition, so it will go down here. Let me check this code. Workflow.transcript. Okay, so as I said, transcript will keep the entire conversation. So we have plus equals. Plus equals means you are appending or adding this onto the transcript. So you are not overwriting the entire transcript with this value. You are adding this at the end of the already existing like text in the transcript. That's what plus equals means. If this was equal, this would overwrite any value inside of transcript with this value. Okay, we're gonna say transcript u. So Botpress decided to refer with u as to GPT. Like it doesn't matter, but you know, u and then $ curly. So this is JavaScript. So we say $ curly brackets workflow.current user. So this will be replaced with the value of the current question, not current user, current question. And then this \n is assigned for a new row, new line. This is when you press enter. So in any text editor, this will not show as \n, this will show as a new line. This will just be a new line here. And then user, this will be replaced with the user response value of the user response variable. Let me go back now. So next execute code, let me see. Let me disable. Workflow follow-up count is equal to 0. So we are actually going to ask follow-up questions, and we want to count how many questions we want to ask. And now that we asked the main question, we're going to start asking follow-up questions, and we want to reset. If this follow-up count is any number, we want to reset it to 0 to start counting our follow-up questions. So this is just resetting it if it's some other number. Okay, then we're going to always transition to follow-up questions. Let me check this code. So we have a condition. First, we're going to check if follow-up question is equal to 2. So it's not going to be equal to 2 in this case because we just set it to 0. But it can get here not just from here, but from other places. So if it gets here from another place and follow-up question is 2, then it's going to return, this is going to return true. As I remember, double or triple equal sign means you are checking. Only one equals means you are setting follow-up questions to 2. So if this is 2, it's going to return true. It's going to transition into this summarize node. Okay, we're going to look at this summarize node a bit later. So if the follow-up question count is not 2, it's going to go down here. What it's going to do, this is an AI task. AI task is basically calling ChatGPT. Let me give you a quick summary of, you should know this. So GPT is a model. There were GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3 since 2017, 18. So ChatGPT is based on GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. You should just know that. GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 are actually the best models. Okay, you know that. You are a skeptical and brilliant recruiter questioning a candidate for a role at your company. Your job is, so basically you're going to tell GPT-4 to generate follow-up questions. So we can see two kind of inputs here. So what is the difference between, because we're going to send this text to GPT-3 or ChatGPT and this text. So this is what I believe. I believe that Botpress, I don't know what they did exactly, but I believe this is a system message. So ChatGPT we'll look at this a bit stronger. So this will have more influence than this down here. So this is like you are this personality, this will have more influence. And then after that, it says like the task. What is your follow-up question? Put it in AI response to the candidate applying for work.position. This will be replaced by the position software engineer, for example. This is the overview of the candidate and then the current overview. And then we're also going to send in the transcript just so ChatGPT has all of it. Or I should not call it ChatGPT. I should call it GPT 3.5. It's more accurate, but I will call it ChatGPT just so everybody understands. Okay. Another thing I wanted to say is that this put it in AI underscore response. ChatGPT cannot put it in this variable. It has no control as I don't think they, like Botpress, made it somehow control these variables. I think what they do is they want ChatGPT to say AI.response column and then give it response. I think this serves just the purpose of ChatGPT answering in such way, so it puts it like into this, like in that way. I don't think it has any like control of putting this into AI response on this website. Store results in variable AI response. So I think they're just using this like to detect the response in the text that GPT 3.5 returns. Task example, they didn't put in any example, but I think like if you are putting examples, it doesn't matter if you put them here or you put them just here, it doesn't matter, because this will just be appended to this. Advanced settings. Let me quickly explain this. So you have 3.5 and 4. So I think you know, like 3.5 is 15 times or 20 times less expensive and faster than GPT-4. temperature, let me quickly explain the temperature. So this determines randomness. Towards 0, it's the answer, the words GPT generates will be less random. Towards 1 will be more random. So if you are solving a mathematical task, put it towards 0. So if there is only one solution, you don't want it to give you like more random solutions if there is a correct solution. But if you are doing something creatively, you want to maybe increase randomness to 0.7, I don't know, to be a bit more random, like some song or something. But do not look at this as a creativity dial. Creativity is a lot more complex concept. Look at this as randomness dial. Okay, let me go next. User input. Then we have workflow.ai response. So this will be a follow-up question. As we put follow-up, what is your follow-up question? You put it into AI response. So this will be a follow-up question. Type S to skip. User put it into user response. This is type is raw input. If I skipped, go into the summarize. If the user didn't skip, let me see this code. Okay, so we have workflow.follow-up questions plus plus. So this basically means you are incrementing this variable follow-up questions by 1. So if it was 0, it's going to be now 1. If it's 1, it's going to be 2. Plus plus increments by 1. And that's how we count the follow-up questions. Okay. Transcript, let me see this code now. Let me turn this up. Okay. So we are just adding this to the transcript again. Plus equals, you are appending, adding it. You workflow current question. So this is the current question will be now the follow-up question. And then user response will be response to we are just adding that to the transcript. And after that, we are going to transition back into the same node. And we're going to check if the count is 2, which in this case will be 1 because we incremented it by 1 here. So it will be 1, so this will be false again. We will get another question. But if it is 2, we're going to go into summarize node. So now let's check the summarize node. AI summary, this is an AI test, so this is GPT 3.5 task. Summarize the transcript below in 2 sentences for a potential investor in the company. End each summary with an assessment of the candidate's answer. Put your summary in AI summary. Okay, the user is applying. So this is system message. This is like you describe personality, or this is more important. This has more weight. Okay, and then task. The user is applying workflow.position at your company. Summarize the information. Okay, let me just show you this. So there is something they wrote, this tag transcript, and inside of that they wrote this transcript, and then they close the tag transcript. This is just for the GPT-3 to be more aware of like where transcript is. So this doesn't like do anything actually. This is just to like tell to GPT-3 where this is the transcript to make it more clear. Store into results into AI summary. There is no AI task example, anything. Okay, so this will give a summary or like a summary of the transcript for a potential investor, and then after that we want to rate. You are a star recruitment analyst. Rate out of 10 how likely it would be that you would hire the candidate based on their answer overall to this question. Put your rating in AI rating. The following transcript has been, so they just put this tag transcript to make it more clear, like this is the transcript of the candidate for GPT 3.5. Okay, so now it's going to return some rating. It's going to put it into this rating, AI rating variable. Let me check this code. Workflow.summary, okay. Okay, this is a bit weird. Yeah, so we rename this count questions to question index. So in the summary array, we are going to add a new summary. At the index is going to be same as the index of the question in questions array, so it's more organized. So we know what corresponds to what. So the value is going to be this AI summary variable. That value of that will be assigned to the value of the element of summary array at this index. Put this into this at this index. That's it. Set rating. What is this? Let me check this code. Answer rating. The same thing. You put rating into the array of ratings under the index. That's same as this question that this question has, to keep it more organized. Okay, then we're going to transition to next main question. Okay, let me see now. Workflow count questions. And this is a bit weird. Yeah, okay, so I'm waiting for too long. So count questions does not exist. Question index. This is, so now we are increasing the index of our question by 1. Now it's second question. Or second question has index 1. Because our index was 0, or I don't know what it was actually. Yeah, it was 0. The first question has index 0. Second question has index 1. So we're increasing it by 1. Next question. Then we have expression. So let me check this out real quick, what this is. So workflow.count questions, this doesn't exist. This is question index. Workflow.total, okay. So total question is going to be 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. This is the maximum index that we can have a question at. It's 2. So the first question index 0, 1, 2, if there are 3 questions. So if this is bigger than 2, the question index is bigger than 2. That means we are outside of the array. There are the index of the last question is 2. Then it's going to go into final question. So this is like the final. Okay, this is not final. I don't think this is final question. I think this is just report. I don't know why they named this node final question, but this is a report, I think. It's not asking a question. So if the index of the question is bigger than the entire number of questions, minus 1. And if it's not, then we are going to transition somewhere else. We're going to go back here, ask main question. So this is going to just ask the next question, but now we have in the updated index number. So it's going to like do the question, but the summary and the response and everything will be now set to the next index in the array. So the index 1. The first one was set to index 0, now index 1. Okay, let me see this. Set summary if skip. So if I think did I do this? So if they decide to skip let me see the code. Did I explain this? So the summary will be not available at this question index, and then let me see, the rating will be 0. I think I explained this. Okay, I explained summary. I explained everything except the last node. Let me just see, like, how do I even get to last node, by the way? Why did I not? So here. So if the index of the question, if we increase this variable to be, for example, 3, but we have 3 questions, so the index of the last question is 2, then it's going to actually return true here that this is larger than total questions minus 1. Go into the final question. I think the final question, okay, let me just see here. We're going to set this variable go to end to true. Why? Because I don't know. So the condition is going to be workflow.go to end. Now we could actually say workflow.go to end is equal to true. So this means that it's gonna check if if go to end is equal to true. If it is equal to true, this is going to return true. It is gonna go into the thank you node. But we don't need to check if this is equal to true because workflow.go to end is already either true or false. So we can just read this and see if it's true or false. And it's gonna go into the thank you if it's true. The next execute code. Workflow.transcript. This is about a candidate who is applying for, okay, so it looks like we are resetting the transcript completely here for some reason. I don't know why it's being reset here. This should probably be reset at the beginning of the conversation, not like after in the end where you don't need it anymore. even if you don't need it, you don't reset it at the end of the conversation. I don't think. I think you reset it at the beginning. We're gonna just say workflow.name. So workflow.name is the name of our variable to store the name of the candidate. Final question. This will just like write final question literally in the text field. Okay. Then we have, is there anything else you would like us to know that hasn't been covered here? Raw input, type value to extract, user response. Intent is no. Okay. So I actually completely forgot to see what like this intent thing is. Let me figure it out like right now. So I mean, I would like, it would be intuitive for me that intent just will like, so there are multiple intents we can have. No, that's fine, that's okay. So AI would kind of figure out from this user response, it seems to me, that it's gonna like figure out what the intent is. If intent is like no, that's fine, that's okay, that's all, or something like that, this intent will return true. And it's gonna go to thank you page. Okay, but it is intent is a bit unclear to me because this is like I forgot to like figure out what it is. I skipped it. Okay, let me see. Okay, if the intent is not no or these like so the user doesn't like want to add anything. So if he wants to add anything, he's going to go down here. Workflow.userResponse.to lowercase. Okay. Now we are going to actually check again if the user wrote S or wrote no. So it looks like we are checking 2 times, not only intent, but we are also checking just to make sure, because maybe intent will not like is not like so 100% sure, like secure and reliable. So we are checking if user response dot to lowercase. So we are converting user response to all lowercase characters. So it will be lowercase s, or it's lowercase no. This will return true, and then this will exit here. So this this double line here means or. Okay, let me see the next. So this is not true, this is false. Let me see where it goes. Transcript. Okay, transcript will be appended u workflow, that current question, user response. So the current question was, do you have anything else to say? The user response is like, yes, I do, or no, I don't. I have this to say. Okay, set go to end to true. We're gonna just set variable go to end to true. And then, what is this? Workflow follow-up count. We're gonna reset follow-up count, follow-up questions. I don't know why we are resetting here at like again. It makes no sense. You should reset it at like beginning when you are before you are using it. Not, I don't know. You reset it randomly here at the end. Okay, but then always we are going to go. We're going to go. Let me see where we are going to go. So we are going to go. Wait, my guy, into follow-up questions. Okay, so this is the reason we are resetting follow-up questions, because we want to actually ask follow-up questions now. So we need to set it to 0 and start counting. So this is completely correct choice to reset follow-up questions right here, because you are actually going to use it again. Okay, now let me see this thank you page. Thank you for submitting your information. We will be in contact with you soon. Then transition always. Okay, so basic details. Report. This is just gonna write in the chat. Subject workflow.name. Details, name, workflow. Okay, let me explain this real quick. We have an object workflow, which has a property full name, which has a property first. Let me take a look at this object full name. So we know that it's object because it has these curly brackets. It has 2 keys, first and last, and each key has a value. So the first default value is Jerry. If we set name to something else, the value will change. If we ask a user, what's your name? They say Mark. This is going to be set to Mark. For the value of the key first will be set to Mark. This is string, means like the data type of the value, Jerry. So if this is integer or number, this cannot be Jerry. This must be a number. This will throw an error if you try setting it to Jerry. This is just for more control and organization. You need to know the types of your variables. So full name dot first will actually, this will be replaced with the Jerry, and this workflow dot full name dot last will be replaced with Bean, with the value of this thing. Okay, role, workflow dot position, summary. This will just say summary, and then we are going to go into the summary. Let's see how it's gonna like show us the summary. Okay, okay. Don't be afraid. This is not too complex. We're making a new new variable called overview, and we are assigning value of the overview variable that we defined in the workflow object. Now this is going to have the same value of this as this overview. Summary, we're assigning value of the summary in the workflow object. Summary text, okay. So the summary is actually an array. So this will workflow summary is an array of summaries for each question. So what we're going to do here is going to take this summary array. We're going to actually join all of the elements into text, into a string, and put this sign between them. This sign is a new line. So we are going to convert the array of strings, array of summaries, into one big string, one big text, and we're going to put this new line in between. That will be assigned, so this summary will not change. The summary variable will not change. We will actually just, so this will be assigned to the summary text variable. The summary variable will stay the same. Here is what we can also do. Workflow.summary. We don't need to assign this to like a new constant. We can just say here workflow.summary.join, because this has the same value. We can do this as well. This will not change this summary. This will just create a new text and assign it here. Okay, long summary. This is the candidate overview, and then overview. This will just append, replace this with value of overview, and then new line, and then value of the summary text. Okay. Workflow.long summary. This will just like display long summary. Our variable score, and then let me see the text. Okay, workflow.answer rating.map. Okay, so this right here syntax. This map means it will go through every element of answer rating array, and it will convert each element to a number. So it will just, so if it will have the same value. So if you have number 1, it's gonna stay the number 1, but its data type, whatever it was, integer, float, it will be converted to a number. And also, if you have like a letter A, which is not a number, I believe this will throw an error, because that cannot be converted to a data type number, because it's not a number, it's like a letter. So it cannot be, so this class number will throw an error. Okay, and then that new array of numbers will be assigned to answer ratings. And then we're gonna just find mean. So there is this kind of object. I don't know if this is like Botpress specific object that they made it. You say this object dot mean. So this is mean is a function, and you pass it this array, and this will return the mean of this array, and it's gonna assign it to average rating. Now there is average rating. So formatted rating, new variable, it's going to take average rating, and however many decimals it has, it's gonna round it to 1 decimal. Average rating dot to fixed 1 means it's gonna round average rating number to 1 decimal. It will not change the average rating number. It will assign this 1 decimal number to formatted rating. So this will be changed, not the average rating. Average rating will stay the same. And then it will set our workflow.score variable to average rating.fixed 1. Okay, this is, so it should be this, to formatted rating. But I was actually, I changed this to show you that you don't need this variable at all here. You can just like say this, you don't need intermediary variable. This will like do the same thing. Okay. The overall score of this submission was workflow score divided by 10. So it's gonna say like 8 out of 10. This will not divide it. This will just say like this will replace like with number 8 out of 10. It's text. Okay, article. Okay, so now we say like write an article, and then we say workflow. What is this? The candidate is applying for workload position information. So we're gonna put all this into AI task input. So send it to GPT 3.5. Long summary. We're gonna send all of this information. It's gonna write an article like report analysis. It's gonna assign it to article variable. It's gonna say evaluation. This is just a text message. Workflow article. So this will be like it will just display this, and the end. And then this will transition go. This will go to the end. Okay. Oh my God! This took so much time to explain. I don't know why. 45 minutes. Holy. Okay. This was a long video, but I enjoyed explaining it. See you in the next video, and type any questions in the comments below now. Let's just check if I like turned on my microphone and everything. So yeah, let's see. If I haven't, lol. See you in the next video. Goodbye, guys.